Hi friends, log on to my website fastbeam.com and talk to me on the forums. Also, don't forget to follow me on Instagram.
Hi guys and welcome to another vlog. I am driving this, the Hyundai Santro. The key is very similar to the Eon. Right away open the engine bay. Only one engine is available and you also get the option of CNG. MPI written over here. Engine bay is quite compact. It is a cab forward sort of a design. Tall boy, the term which Hyundai coined, but this is not really as much as a tall boy as the original model. As you can see at the front, it might remind you of the Eon, the lights, and the grille is so big, I think it leaves no space for the bumper at all. In fact, the fog lamp is also positioned quite high on this vehicle, and this cascading grille is honestly way too big for a small car and kind of intimidating as well. There's a Hyundai logo over here and you get this flap over here which is likely to touch on bad speed breakers. Anyways, the design is nice and compact. In fact, this blue color is there almost on every Hyundai car, so it's a little dirty because we're trying to do drifts in a real amount of dirt on Motorbeam. So for the Motorbeam comparison with the Tiago, as you can see, it doesn't get alloy wheels, it gets wheel caps, which is obviously cost cutting, and you get blinkers over here on the outside rear view mirrors. These door handles don't look nice at all, should have had the pull out type door handles, and the overall design is decent, but honestly it reminds you a lot about the Eon. But there is some design treatment over here, as you can see, sort of a boomerang, and as you keep coming to the rear you realize that it's kind of different, and they have used a lot of black on the bumper to reduce the visual bulk. It gets parking sensors at the rear, but only 2 parking sensors. Usually there are 4, so there is cost cutting over there. There's a reverse parking camera over here. Let me clean it. And there's a Hyundai logo over here, but you can't press a button to open this. You have to either use the key or open it from inside. So again, it doesn't get an electromagnetic tailgate opener. Over here, the boot is decent size. It's not very big. And this is the spare wheel, which obviously isn't an alloy because the regular wheels of the car are not alloy either. Anyways, as you can see, it is a light car, so it's easy to close that. There is no roof spoiler, but this is the nozzle for the spray for the rear windscreen. It also gets a rear defogger, obviously. So like I was telling you about the design, it looks decent. It's not very wowish. Let's quickly get into the rear seat of this vehicle. Now, as you can see, the doors open large and wide. The window area is also big. There's a proper 1 liter bottle hold. The door pads can easily keep a 1 liter bottle, and obviously over here there's good amount of space as well. So there's good amount of knee room, leg room, and headroom is also decent, but the seat is not scooped out and it doesn't get magazine holders either. There are twin AC vents over here, which is a segment first, by the way. Not really, because the Quid also gets it now. Anyways, as you can see, the seats are good and decent. However, one big gripe and cost cutting which is evident here is that it doesn't get any adjustable headrests. All headrests in this car are fixed, which is kind of disappointing for tall passengers, and 3 people can squeeze in over here, but again you don't even get a fixed headrest for the middle passengers, which again is kind of disappointing. Dhan left his bag in the car, I think. Anyways, as you can see, the Santro is liberating a lot of space on the interior front, but there is a lot of cost cutting in this vehicle. So for starters, as you can see, you can actually see the screw over here, so that's not concealed. The front door pockets are large enough. You can keep a 1 liter bottle over here, and as you can see, there are no power window controls over here. Well, why are there no power window controls? Because they are in the center. I'll come to that in a bit. Now, this is the front seat, which unfortunately isn't adjustable for height. Again, a big problem for tall passengers because neither is the steering adjustable for height, and this is the fuse box. Now, this is the outside rear view mirror control. It gets electric adjust for the rear view mirror. This is the headlight leveler, and this is kind of coming from the Mercedes A-Class. So it doesn't get push button start or keyless go. So this is what you do. You put the key inside over there. Now it gets a Swatch can. This is the Swatch can, and I ate a burger and I kept it there. Anyways, there's a glass holder over here. This comes out like that, and there's a coin holder ahead over here. Meanwhile, over here around the handbrake area also you can keep some amount of stuff, and there is a cubby hole over here. There's a USB plug over here. There's a 12-volt charging socket over here, and the cabin looks decent. Some premium touches, like obviously the side AC vents, they look nice. There's space to keep stuff over here as well, which is again nice. The glove box is large enough, and the cabin actually feels nice. Obviously no auto dimming inside rear view mirror at this price. There's no light over here. Light is placed only over here in the center, and you get a mirror over here. Yeah, that's right, a mirror is placed over here, but there is no light for obvious reasons. That is cost cutting. There's no mirror over here. There's space to keep your toll receipts over here. Let me quickly turn on the car right away. Now you have to press the clutch to turn on the car, otherwise it will not turn on. So that is the clutch lock. Meanwhile, the air conditioning works really well on this vehicle, and the real takeaway of the Santro is this 7-inch touchscreen infotainment system, which gets a reverse parking camera as well. The guidelines, obviously they are not adaptive. Now this one gets Apple CarPlay, it gets Android Auto connectivity as well. It's a very nice and fluid system. Now as you can see, this instrument cluster seems to have come from the Ignis, because the way the needles are positioned is the same. This multi-information display might be small, but it shows a lot of information. For starters, it's showing me exactly what is the mileage right now, which happens to be 8.2 kilometers per liter due to hard driving, and obviously because this car was turned on and kept. Anyways, you can browse through this. There's a real-time mileage indicator as well. This is the average speed, and this is how much time you've driven the car. Meanwhile, this is the number of kilometers the car has been driven, which actually is a trip meter, the twin trip meter. There's a distance to empty as well, and yeah, this is loaded. That's the odometer below, and on the right we get the fuel meter. In the center we get the speedometer. On the left we get the tachometer. That is the situation over here. We get audio controls on the steering wheel. Now this is actually for the audio system, and this is again for the audio system, because this is to actually go ahead or behind with the song. This is to decide which mode you want, whether you want FM, AM or Bluetooth, and this is to mute, this is to increase or decrease the volume, and these are the controls for the phone. And over here on the right we get the stocks for the headlights and also for the fog lights, which can be turned on like this. Meanwhile, on the left we get the controls for the windscreen wipers, and as you can see, the spray is nice, but why are the wipers not moving ahead? All right, you have to do them separately. That's funny. Okay, yeah, that's another level of cost cutting probably. Meanwhile, over here there's the Hyundai logo, which is getting camouflaged along with the black pad on the steering wheel for the horn. So cost cutting over here, they did not give it a chrome logo. They should have done that. At least don't do that with the logo, because when I'm driving this car I'm like, okay, where is the Hyundai logo? Honestly, I don't search for it, but I'm just saying that any which ways. So you can see the cabin doesn't have many features, and there's some amount of cost cutting as well, mainly because the steering doesn't get any adjust, and the seat also doesn't get any adjust, which means that I feel extremely uncomfortable driving this car because of my height. And overall quality levels are decent. In fact, they are pretty good for the price, but I expected more in terms of features, and definitely this is not cool. Having all the power window controls in the center, so this is for the power window lock, and this is to open the power windows. Even for the front co-passenger, he has to use this button only. He cannot do it because he doesn't have it on the door itself. So there's the cost cutting. Let's quickly hear the audio system.
सुने तूने अपनी सहेलियों से मेरे बारे में वो सारे सच्चा बेबी मैं हूँ जिसके
Okay, some random song playing on the radio. Audio quality is decent, it's not great. It doesn't have to be exceptional at this price point, but the Tiago's audio quality is much better. Obviously, it uses a Harman sourced audio system. So not much to talk about in the cabin. Yeah, you get dual airbags on the top spec trim, but unfortunately on lower trims you only get a single airbag, which doesn't make sense to me. And it gets ABS as well. So overall, it's kind of a hit and a miss in terms of the interior, because it has good amount of space, it has good amount of quality, and it has got some amount of features which are missing in other cars at this price point. But unfortunately, it misses out on some features which are expected at this price point, especially from Hyundai. Anyways guys, you can see the front seats are comfortable, but fixed headrest is not cool, especially for tall passengers. So let's get driving. All right, we are all set to go. Air conditioning off into first gear. You can barely hear the engine, it is so refined. Revving the motor, and it revs till 5000 rpm in neutral. That's a lot of revs, and off we go. Wheels spinning. Red lines at 6500 rpm, and there are a lot of flat spots in the power band. That's why it bogs down from first to second. And now we are into third gear. Now let me tell you, this engine feels very responsive in the mid-range. Low end is good, it feels very drivable as well. However, the top end is quite lacking, and it becomes very vocal in the top end. In fact, post 5000 rpm, the progress of the rpm meter is also very slow, and it's very noisy as well. So overall, the engine is very good for city driving and occasional highway runs as well. However, if you really need to get going, you have to downshift into second gear, and there it revs a lot. I mean, yeah, it is very noisy in the top end. Revving the motor to almost 5000 rpm, and off we go. Wheel spinning, and near near to 6,500 RPM redline, again flat spot. Anyways, this car is powered by a 1.1 liter Epsilon petrol engine. It's a 4-cylinder engine, unlike the one in the Eon, which is a 3-cylinder engine. Now the 3-cylinder engine in the Eon is more modern. It gets 4 valves as well as variable valve timing. This engine does not, because this is the same engine which used to power the Santro Zing. So yes, this is an old engine, but somehow it is very, very, very refined, and that is exactly why it shines so much. In fact, power is good enough at 69. Yes, you heard that right. I said 69 horsepower and 99 Newton meters of torque. That's absolutely good. In fact, the braking performance is also very nice on this car, and it offers show-footed stopping power as well. Yeah, it always wheel spins because it kind of feels punchy, and that's why it is actually a very good car for the city. Come on Santro, show me what you got. Now obviously cost cutting because of the older engine, but you kind of don't feel lacking at all. It also gets a tachometer which was not there in any generation of the Santro earlier, but the steering has absolutely no feel or feedback as such, and that's when you realize you're driving a Hyundai car. Because yes, the ride quality is good, the suspension is on the softer side, and it feels nice over bad roads, but in terms of handling it is quite lacking. The steering particularly doesn't impress at all. It is very light at lower speeds, but especially when you're taking a U-turn, it just doesn't self-center. You have to make another bit of an effort to get it pointing straight. Now while driving in the city, let me tell you that the clutch is on the lighter side. The gearbox is also very slick shifting, and you can actually go into higher gears at lower speeds because the engine is quite tractable. And you know, in third gear at 40 kilometers per hour, get onto the accelerator and slowly it will build up speed and get going quickly. Well, that's a good thing inside this car. The horn kind of sucks though, and this car is also available for the first time in a Hyundai car, an AMT gearbox. Now obviously AMT adds to the convenience, but I'll do a different review on that completely. But this manual is very nice thanks to the light clutch as well as the slick shifting gearbox, which I mean is very responsive, and the gates are well defined as well. The Santro is quite a light car, and that's the reason it really doesn't feel very stable at high speeds. But honestly, this is more of a city car. You wouldn't really take it to high speeds as such. And in terms of fuel economy, it is claimed to be 20.3 kilometers per liter. Not the best in terms of ARAI numbers, but yes, if you drive it sanely, you can expect something around 13 to 14 kilometers per liter. Right now it's showing 8.2 kilometers per liter because obviously the car was turned on at a motor beam shoot. So the crucial question is, should you buy a Hyundai Santro? Well, there are 9 variants available. Yeah, 9 variants of a car with a single engine, and out of those 9 variants, 2 are for the CNG and 2 are for the AMTs. Only 5 variants for the petrol manual. Well, that's fine because the price range starts from rupees 4.66 lakhs for the base Santro, which happens to be the D-Lite variant, and the top end variant, which happens to be the one I'm driving right now, happens to be the Asta. The irony is that the top spec petrol manual is priced the same as the top spec AMT model. That is because you don't get the top Asta variant in the AMT. The top variant in the AMT happens to be the Sports. So Hyundai is not giving you all the features if you opt for AMT, which is kind of disappointing. So for the price, the Santro does offer a lot in terms of quality, city drivability, and a good and refined engine. However, some cost cutting is glaringly evident, like this logo. I mean, yeah, every time I drive it, I know I have not paid enough money to buy this car. That's the reason I do not get a chrome treatment on the logo. They shouldn't have done that with the logo. But overall, this vehicle feels like a great comeback for the Santro brand. I only expected more in terms of less cost cutting and definitely more features as well. And the most important thing is the Santro nameplate is so strong, the resale value is going to be great. And Hyundai's service network is also amazing, and cost of ownership will also be very affordable. So guys, this is my review of the Hyundai Santro, a car which after being discontinued for 4 years has come back and is definitely going to make an impact because already 30,000 units have been booked. It feels nice, easy to drive, it's a good city runabout, but honestly I expected slightly more considering how big the nameplate the Santro is, and this feels a lot, trust me, like the Grand i10 and obviously the Eon as well. Eon in terms of looks and Grand i10 in terms of driving dynamics, because it uses the same platform as a Grand i10, and thus the driving dynamics are also very similar, which is not a bad thing. Actually, it's actually a very good thing. The steering feel should have been there though. Anyways, if you like this video, you know what you have to do. Give it the thumbs up, that's the like button, and also subscribe to the channel. I will see you guys in the next video real soon. Bye bye.